What's up, poker players? Hope you guys are out there crushing it on the tables, making some deep runs and some tourneys, and building up that bankroll. Today we're going to take a look at one of the tourneys that I made a deep run in from the other day. It is the $5.50 Big 10 $1,000 guaranteed. I am currently sitting 6 of 11 when I started recording, and we got in a lot of good hands, a lot of action. Let's jump right into the poker. The first hand we're looking at is King 10 offsuit in the big blind. Folds around to the small blind. We are playing 5-handed right here. The small blind just completes, and it is our option. We put in a raise of 3x right here, trying to put a little bit of pressure on the small blind and possibly picking this pot up pre-flop. And the small blind does fold, and we do take down that pot without even seeing a flop. Next hand we're looking at is Queen 5 offsuit in the small blind. Folds around to the button, who open raises, and we easily make a fold right here. We are currently sitting at about 10 revolutions around the table and about 21 big blinds, so we're sitting in a pretty good spot. We have a large stack size. We are setting up for a deep final table run right now. Now we are looking at Ace 9 offsuit, finding a bet sizing, and we put in a raise of a little bit larger than 2x. This is where I play a lot of aggression in the tourney when we are right before the final table. It's always good to put pressure on people. People usually tighten up at this spot in the tourney, just trying to make it to the final table when they could be building a large stack that they need to use on the final table, which is what we're going to try to do in this tourney. You can see that we have players starting to stall during this time of the tourney as well, trying to get in the least amount of action as possible, just trying to easily glide their way into the final table. But we're not going to let that happen. We're going to be putting pressure on players like this. So we've got a couple tight players to our left that are perfect to try to steal from and pick up some blinds and antes over there. We've got Samuel L. Action, who plays pretty much like his name says, a lot of action, pretty tight aggressive player. The big dog 261 just timed out and is currently sitting in inactive. That is good for us as well, even easier to pick up those blinds and antes. And we do take that pot down pre-flop, adding to our chip stack. Now we're looking at Ace 7 offsuit. We still have the big dog 261 sitting out, so we are pretty much playing from the cutoff now and put in an open raise with the Ace 7 off and picking up some more blinds and antes, adding to our chip stack, almost up to 90,000 now. Next hand we're looking at is Ace 6 of hearts in the big blind. Folds around to the small blind, Samuel L. Action 69, who puts in a decent sized raise. I'm just going to be calling here in position, deep stacked. Hopefully we can get in a big pot with this player and possibly even double up. That flop isn't terrible. We have a backdoor nut flush draw and we hit bottom pair. We will most likely improve to the best hand with an ace as well. Our opponent leads out for a bet and we wind up hitting a flush draw on the turn, but we're going to try to pick this pot up right now. Our flush draw doesn't do any good if we check it down, so let's try to pick it up right now, and if not, we could always be drawing out, or we could be good with our sixes. All the draws missed. I'm just content with checking it down right now. I'm not going to be putting in another bluff when our opponent has called our turn bet, and he did have pocket kings. He slowed down on the river, tried to bluff and deuce a little bit. Didn't happen. We saved some chips right there. Now we have Ace 5 suited in the hijack seat. The big dog 261 is now back, and the tight player to our left, Mott's Lover, put in a raise here. We haven't seen him play many hands, so he's probably got something really strong in this spot. I decided to just hit the fold button right there. That was a pretty close one. I almost was pot committed right there to be making the call, but we are most likely going to be dominated up against that type of player. Chip stack is now diminishing. We now have about 11 big blinds in our stack, and we're jamming it in when Samuel L. Action just limps into this pot, and we pick up a few more big blinds with that win right there. Now we have a little 9-4 suited action in the small blind. Folds around to the button, button, Samuel Action, who puts in a raise. We can easily fold the 9-4 right here. And now we're looking at some pocket kings in the small blind. We've got about 8.5 big blinds in our stack right now. Blinds and A's are now up to 2,000, 4,000, and 2,000 in antes. It is our action. We are going to be putting in a raise right here. And I just put in a min raise to try to induce some bluffs in this spot. Not a great flop for pocket kings. There's an ace on the board, but I check back to try to induce some more bluffs. And he goes all in with a queen 7. He's got a pair of 7s, drawing to a 7 or a queen. Does not get there, and we double up with the pocket kings. And we are on break now. Perfect timing. We are currently sitting 5th of 10 in chips right now. One more spot from the final table. Next hand after break, we have a little ace king action on the button. Full draw to us. We're going to be putting in an open raise here and hoping that someone jams into us because we will be calling down anything. But we do pick up just the blinds here. There are 2 tight players to our left, like I said earlier. We now have max luck to our right. And we now have King Jack suited on the button. King Jack of hearts. Full draw to us. We are going to be putting in an open raise here. And I just jam all in right here. It's a good spot to be getting it in against some smaller stacks to our left. We get called by an ace queen. Cannot hit a king or a jack. We just ran into a big hand right there. Not much you can do about it. Now we have King 10 suited. We now have a less than 11 big blinds. Again, I just jam right here since we are now small stacked. And we get folds all the way around. And we are now hand for hand since we are one spot from the final table. So we're waiting for the other table to finish up their hand before we get dealt a hand. We are currently sitting a little bit less than half of the average stack. So one double up and we're back above average. We are 9 of 10 right now. We've got a little bit more than 10 big blinds. It's not a terrible spot. We're sitting okay. Still have some wiggle room, some room to make moves and build our chip stack up before the final table. We now have King Jack offsuit in the small blind, and it folds around to us. And we are going to be putting in a raise here. Mott's Lover has a little bit more than 15 big blinds, but we have less than 12 big blinds. I think this is, again, a great spot to be jamming our entire stack in right here. Hopefully we don't run into Mott's with a ace queen. Once again, he does not. He folds. We pick up that pot pre-flop and add a few more chips to our stack. And now we have a little 9-3 offsuit on the button. Not a great hand. We will be folding that one, even with the tight players to our left. Now we have a little pocket 2s in the cutoff. Just make a jam here with the deuces. And we pick up some more blinds and antes, building that chip stack up. Now we got Queen 7, just gonna fold that one pre-flop. And somehow we are now 10 of 10, even though we keep adding chips to our stack. Still, we're not in a bad spot. We've got a little bit less than 60,000. Average stack is about 90,000. And we have pocket kings on the button. We get an all-in from the player to our right. This is the easiest spot ever with the pocket kings. We are going to be getting it all in. We rejam, and we're up against an ace king. Looking good so far. We need to avoid an ace, and there's a fucking ace on the river. Oh, man. Wow. Can't ask for a better spot to get it in right there. Actually, you could ask for a better spot, but that's not a terrible spot to get it in. Just had to avoid an ace on the river, and we could not do that. And now our stack is extremely low. We've got 3 big blinds, and we are now in the big blind with Queen 10 suited, going to be getting this in. But we get a walk. We get a free hand. We get some more chips without even seeing a flop. And we are just hanging on right now. Now we have Jack Deuce offsuits. We've got 2 big blinds. Blinds and antes went up. We're now at 2,500, 5,000, and we've got 10,573 in our stack. Going to be calling any raise here and hopefully getting a double up with some good run out cards. Samuel Action is in. Max hopefully just folds, and we are able to call. We call Queen 9, Jack Deuce. We hit a jack on the flop. That is good. Avoid a queen, and we do. Doubling up. Now up to 26,000. We now have about 5 big blinds. We're not out of this tourney. We are hanging on. Going to be folding this 6 deuce to a raise by Samuel Action. Now we have 8-3 offsuit on the button. Going to be folding this one as well, even though you could argue to put in a steal here if it does fold around to to us, but Max to our right puts in a raise, and we can easily fold the 8 offsuit there. And now we have a 6 deuce offsuit. We are getting some monsters, you guys. Give us some cards so we can get a double up hand in there. Did you see that that flop though with the 6 deuce? Would have flopped trips. And once again we have a 6 deuce, and I am getting rid of this hand. We have an all in from Mott's Lover. Everyone else folds, and we are in the big blind once again. When we get the next hand, since we are hand for hand, it is a little bit in between while we wait for the other table to finish up their hand. We get a little queen deuce suited, folds around to Max, who jams all in. We are extremely small stacked, and I'm sure the blinds and antes are going to go up very soon. So we are in a spot where we have to decide whether to get it in or just to fold here. I think we're getting pretty good value. This is one of those spots where it's pretty close, but I do make the call. Queen deuce against jack 10. We are in the lead pre-flop, but that jack on the flop puts him in the lead. We need a queen on the turn or river. It's an 8 on the turn and an ace on the river. We could have hit a 10 in there for a straight. Queen wouldn't have helped. It would have given him the straight. Either way we look at it, we are knocked out on the bubble. Final table bubble. Once again, why does this always happen? We played good though. I think we got in some great spots. Cards just didn't run out for us today. What are you gonna do? Except come back tomorrow, play your best, and one of these times, you know what? We're gonna make a final table run. We're gonna win. You can't bubble every tourney. To make sure you don't miss out on the future poker action, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Stay up to date with the 100K challenge. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it or you enjoy the content that I am throwing out here on this channel. Head down to the video description for links to America's Card Room, where I do all of my poker playing and all of the other poker products that I use, including Hold'em Manager, which is what I use for my on-table stats. Leave any comments or questions down in the comments section, and I will be back with a new video very soon. But until then, I'll see you guys out on the virtual felt.